I told Peter, Claire, you are now a big voice in our country. It is not your responsibility to go all over the world just demarcating the nation. What's wrong with you? On top of that, you don't be shouting production. If they ask you a question, I can't even answer it. I even have to tell him, okay, Wike, don't be angry. I don't want that guy to be lost, and I don't want the Nigerian people to... Can you imagine asking a president that? So those who are decamping, some of them are going to be disappointed. It is value you must create so that wherever you are, people will chase you with whatever it is you say you want. If you chase after what they have, are you a thief? How much of it can they give you? But when you try to create value, you will find out that even when they engage you, they see value. And somebody who thinks himself as a potential president, do you think I will not be mindful of the fact that I will lose all my people who think I'm a champion of the oppressed? But I just don't want us to be glamorizing anger. That was why I told Peter, Claire, you are now a big voice in our country. It is not your responsibility to go all over the world just demarcating the nation. What's wrong with you? On top of that, you don't be shouting production. If they ask you a question, I can't even answer it. So the point I'm making is that if you are for Nigeria, whether you're APC, PDP, or whatever you call it, I'm for you. People can be upset and all that, but that's fine. But in the 2027 too, the People's Democratic Party of Nigeria will open up its rules, will announce when it is time for buying the form. Anybody that feels strong enough to contest should go and contest there. If I were Peter Obi, I'll come and take that ticket. I'll make a very strong stake for that ticket. And I
Peter Obi should return to the PDP.
I think that if I were him, I'll make a strong stake for that ticket, because I really do not see why the Igbos, this party was actually conceived in the bedroom of Alex Ekweme. I really do not see why the Igbos and the southern leaders and other leaders of thought in the country, especially in the PDP, cannot say, okay, we accept we owe a southeastern debt. Here's the ticket. If Peter can do 6 point something all by himself, with no governor, no nothing, can you imagine what he would do with 12 governors and a strong grassroots infrastructure? Have you seen the way we do primaries? Our primaries are like movies. They're like a movie set. We don't joke about. It's so choreographed. It's so beautiful. And if we've gone everywhere else. We've not gone to the Southeast. But Peter is at liberties to do as he wishes.
So Peter, if Peter Obi goes to the PDP, it's almost like a stroll.
It will likely get
into the presidency.
It will likely get the ticket. I don't know about stroll. Every contest must be, keenly contested. You have to count. You can't count.
But it will be easier for him.
Because he'll be, if he gets that, if his numbers and his animate energy that is following him were to follow him into the PDP and he was the presidential candidate, I can guarantee you Peter will take the Southeast. Peter will take the South-South. Peter will take the Christian North. Peter will take North Central. Do you know how many votes PDP can bring for him, even without campaigning? Just PDP and people will just come apart.
But it doesn't look like Peter will leave Labour Party.
It's not listening. You asked a question that allowed me to speak to that possibility.
To the permutation.
If Atiku picks the ticket of the PDP, the challenge is we have to find somebody that can back him. If Seyi Makinde picks the ticket of the PDP, the challenge is we have to find somebody that will back him. I've heard a lot of people in the country as I go around tell me that, Segun, why are you not even talking to us about Bala Mohammed? If Bala, the former governor, the governor of Bauchi State, if Bala picks the ticket, we'll back him. There is always a pathway for. If I, Segun Showunmi, get a ticket to PDP, I know where to go find the running mate. What I'm trying to say in essence is that people must understand political parties must be nurtured.
The benefits and drawbacks of Obi's return to the PDP, and how do you think it will affect the party's internal dynamics and external relationships?
Very good question. First things first. With due respect, Peter is at liberty to do whatever he thinks is in his best interest before we get the impression that anybody is forcing him or pushing him or dragging him or pulling him. No. What are the potential advantage first for Peter before I then go to the potential advantage for PDP? Because that party, People's Democratic Party of Nigeria, in my opinion, owes a southeastern debt. Sir Alex Ekweme, one of the drivers and the founders of this party, dragged the Indigbos into that party. He tried to be president in 1999. He came short in the primary, but notwithstanding that, the Indigbos have been very, very passionate, very consistent with the party. If you look at our numbers in the seasons when we used to win, between 1999 until 2015, including the 2015 and 2019, our biggest numbers came from them. And if you are part of those who believe that the pendulum, when it goes to the north for 8 years, must swing to the south for 8 years, then you have to ask, if the PDP is to go south, where is the equity for them? I hold a very strong view that that equity is in the southeast. Now, for Peter to be able to cash onto that equity, what does Peter bring to the table and what will Peter be earning? On the table is that with very little effort, he will bring in the southeast, he will bring in a lot of the numbers in the south side, never mind the fact that governors are jumping up and down. He will bring in the Christian north, and he will bring in every middle, fair-minded Nigeria that is looking for a different type of country. That's what Peter will bring for PDP. And what will Peter get from PDP? He will be getting, however he even may be lazy with his campaign, he'll be getting a grassroots party that understands that you can't go to election without having, what they call, there's one word I'm looking for, skip me now. Those people that agents in every polling unit, you will get that. At the worst outing of PDP, the smallest number we ever got was the one that was allocated in 2023, which is 6.9. Before then, we would always bring in a respectable 12-point-something million, sometimes 12-point-something, and sometimes as high as 22-point-something million. So if Peter thinks that that energy is good for him, it's for him to take that decision. If he doesn't believe that, he's at liberties to go and start struggling positions with people who think that he's a schoolboy who must be invited to come and be number 2, never mind the fact that there's no reason why he should not desire number 1. If Nnamdi Azikiwe was alive today, what would he have said to Peter? He would have said, and I dare guess to Peter that, look, Peter, you have gotten back some political respect for us in Igbo land. Under no circumstance must, if they can your message, they cannot respect your drive, they cannot respect your passion, then let them go and cast that vote and throw it in the Atlantic Ocean for you. That's Peter's business. Now, for the PDP itself, because the party is not doing too badly at the base, they don't have much problem at the grassroots. They don't have much problem at the states. They don't have much problem at the zones.
Well,
in fact, I dare say they have only but
just for the sake of...
Whatever he does, however he does it, will be discussed. Sometimes when people are still at the planning stage, there's always a tendency for Nigerians to jump into conclusion. Yeah. They speculate and jump. So for me, I will prefer that the media should wait for him to take whatever decision he wants to take. In the case of Peter Obi, I think Peter must be the biggest fish in the ocean now when it comes to opposition play. And that has nothing to do with reducing the value of the others. You must see that until Peter came in 2023 and ran that race he ran, it almost seemed like Nigeria was bipolar, left or right, left or right. Peter is a guy that really actually introduced the audacity of a third force in the real sense. People have tried it before, but some guys have always been obsessed with the idea of a third force, never really flown. But once Peter had got into that space, then the third force has become some kind of reality in people's mind. And really, people crave for it. But what will Peter do? Peter will have to be smart. He has to understand that sometimes when you have gotten to a certain position, you shouldn't allow yourself to be carried back to the position you were before you took the risk of getting to that position. But hey, it's Peter's call. if he wants to go to SDP, the question Peter will have to ask himself is that what great value does SDP bring for him as an individual that Labour did not bring? If he thinks SDP has more structure, okay, good for him. He's going to find out it's not always that the grass is greener on the other side. The other question he's going to have to ask himself is that when a lot of young people are always looking at him, or already looking at him as the go-to guy, the guy that represents their anger, their energy, or whatever it is that they say Peter represents, we need not go and dilute people who, So Peter will have to be Peter. When he makes up his mind, now Peter is quite capable of pulling surprises. I remember in the build-up to 2019, I know myself very well, and he knows too, I put a lot of pressure on him to run under PDP. My great expectation at that time was that if he had gone through the whole primary process, well, I knew Peter was popular with young people, but he didn't even know that popularity was that much. But I kept telling Peter, the people are, because it's the kind of thing I'm interested in. I'd hope that he would buy the ticket, which he did, and I'd hope that he would go through the primary, which plus or minus he may not win. Even if he didn't win, I knew that everybody would have been absolutely sure that Peter had to be on the ticket. So I was kind of looking forward to the 2019 experience, which I was the spokesperson at Peter Obi. I knew that if they had been wise enough, fact on the ground deciding their action, they would have known that that's the only ticket I can win. But they didn't do that until it's gone.